Hi everyone, how's all doing? Welcome to part 2 of destroying this layout. In this part, I'm hoping to take all the buildings away and start lifting the track. To disconnect all the wiring, I'll have to get under the baseboard, and I don't like doing that. I always get stiff and sore afterwards. It's not much fun getting older. Don't know how easy some of these buildings are going to come out. They might be a little bit set into the plaster. So maybe a wee bit of persuasion. There you go. Let the door come off that one. Whether I reuse these houses or not, I don't know, because they are HO gauge. I know that does give you a bit of a sense of perspective. Well, that one's come off nice and easy. So yeah, I don't know whether to use these houses again or not, or just build new ones. I don't know. We need to wait and see. I haven't thought too much about buildings for the new layout, apart from station, goods depot, engine shed, but I want to get as many interesting features as I can into the thing, so we'll see. I do have a couple of plastic kits of other things, and yeah, we'll see. We shall see. That's that one. That one. And we will have to find a home for the old tower house here in the new layout, of course. Right, okay. All the wood soaking, and it should come out. I deliberately didn't glue the roof on. It's always a good idea to keep buildings' roofs loose, so you can get into them. Let's see if we can. Platform comes out. Get that out. There we go. These platforms I'm not going to reuse, so they can just get. I'm not too bored. They should just lift off. So they're not going to get reused. They'll just get thrown out, chucked on the fire, whatever. And that just lifts off. And of course the old engine shed. Unfortunately, the roof on this is stuck on, and I really wished it wasn't. Let's see if we can get it out in one piece though. The doors in this, these aren't the original doors, these are just ones I made out of Metcalf cardboard. They're not hinged, they're just permanently open. The original ones used to be hinged, but don't know what happened to them. Thanks for all your comments on my last video. Yes, somebody said that they hadn't seen a video of somebody taking a model railway apart. It's normally one's being built, which I guess is possibly true. I can't think I've seen one either. And I just thought, it's as much a part of the hobby as anything else, so why not show it? And I think if I was getting rid of this altogether and not having a model railway anymore, that would be very, very sad. But I don't see this as being too sad, not really. Once I made that decision to do it, I was just itching to get on with it. And I'm going to be building another one, so I don't get too sentimental about these things. From the comments, it sounds like some of you guys are more upset than I am. Right, I knew this engine shed was going to be a bit of a pain to get out. I've stuck it in too well. There we go. Yeah, these bits of cardboard lifted. I put them in. I knew they would lift. That's why engines got stuck in the engine shed occasionally. So there we are. That's all my buildings out. And again, these platforms, you know, they're very bespoke to this layout. My new platforms will probably have to be a different width and stuff, so a different length. So these can just come out like that. Oh, don't forget my lighting wiring. I thought I'd disconnected that. Right, we'll get these dry stain dikes out. One of the mistakes I made when making this layout was a lot of the static grass I used was too long. You know, it's the long static grass is fine if you use the static grass tool, which I do have one, but I never had much success with it. But yeah, I just found it much more effective to use a much shorter static grass like this stuff. It just produces a better effect, I think, for me personally. I suppose it depends what you're after. I mean, if you're after that sort of long grassland, dry grass look, then yeah, static grass is brilliant if you can get it right. But this here, no, I didn't get it right at all. So I may experiment with that when I come to build a new layout. I may try trying to get the static thing to work a bit better. But yeah, I can see me using, you know, much shorter static grass. A couple of people have asked me if I'm going to go DCC with the new layout. That rubbish old hedge that I made. No, I won't be going DCC. I've had nothing against DCC whatsoever, but when I got back into the hobby, yeah, I mean, I intended at that point, I thought, yeah, I probably will go to DCC at some point. It's just seemed to be what you do, but when my YouTube channel started to kind of kick off, you know, when I started to get some views, and one or two people said, you know, it's the best place on YouTube for DC. That kind of, oh, this wall's just all breaking. That kind of made me realise that, you know, there's a niche for DC stuff, and certainly, you know, when I was trying to remember how to wire up points and stuff like that, I couldn't find any information, not easily anyway, online about how to do it. It was all about DCC. So yeah, I think there's plenty of people out there who are DC only, and a lot of them I think would be quite disappointed if I went to DCC. But you know, there's the cost as well. You know, when I started, I only ever intended to have a dozen locomotives at the very most, but I've ended up with about 50 odd, so, and probably more to come. So the thought of converting all of those to DCC, yeah, financially it's just not going to happen. So, and for what I do with a model railway, you know, I don't sit and play shunting the way some people will do. I just run my trains. I don't see an awful lot of point in me going DCC, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, never say never, but I have absolutely no plans to. Let's see if I can get these level crossing gates out without breaking them. Ooh, I don't remember using black tack in there, but I must have done. Right, so I think we're just about done as far as the surface demolition goes. So the next thing to do is to get under the table, disconnect the wires, and then I can lift the track. I'm not going to film disconnecting the wires. That would be a bit awkward and a bit boring. So I'll get on and do that, and then we'll start lifting the track. I won't video lifting all the track, but just enough to let you see how it's done and the mess it makes. Right, okay, I have disconnected all the wires underneath the baseboard. Yeah, that's a real final moment, you know, when you cut the wires away. You think, well, that's it. Even if I want to test a locomotive on it now, I can't. This is now dead. Right, so we're going to lift the track. And basically, all you have to do is soak the ballast and it will lift off, because my track is not pinned. It's glued to the polystyrene with little blobs of PVA here and there. So once it's soaked with water, it'll lift quite easily. But I just need to get a starting point, so I'm just going to cut the fish plates away at one of the joins there. My sleepers are all painted, but the paint I used is water-based, which is a very cheap water-based paint you can get out of Hobbycraft. But then I'll use it again for painting the sleepers, I don't know, because it does kind of wash off. Which in some ways is quite good, having the paint wash off with water, but it's a bit annoying when I paint the sleepers and then do the ballasting, and it would take some of the paint away, so then I have to touch up the paint after doing the ballasting. So I think, yeah, I'll maybe use acrylic or something on the new layout. Where's my chisel? Oh, it's way over there. Okay, so this should just lift it out. I don't want to damage or bend the track, because I want to reuse as much as possible. And there's one of my droppers. So obviously the track's got a lot of ballast stuck to it and some polystyrene, that's where I've glued the track down. I think what I'll have to do is soak the pieces of track in water. I'll probably chuck them in the bath, because the water won't damage the plastic or the actual track, but it'll help me get these cleaned up. So I think if I give them a good soak and brush them down, the track should be perfectly reusable. Okay, so I stopped filming yesterday because I wanted to check the quality of what I was recording, because I got a new phone, and I just wanted to make sure it looked okay and sounded okay. Video quality was absolutely fine, but the audio quality, yeah, same as my old phone really. The microphone's far too sensitive for some frequencies, but as soon as I'm any distance away from the phone, it's just hopeless. It's my voice becomes very quiet, but all the ambient noises in the room are still very loud. So I got myself this little wireless lapel mic, and hopefully that should solve the problem. You should be able to hear me now, no matter how far away I am from the phone. I would still like to get myself a proper camera for making these videos. I mean, my phone shoots in 4K. It's pretty good, but yeah, I think a good mirrorless camera or dedicated video camera would be better. So I've got an old Nikon DSLR camera, D7200 I think it is, with some lenses that I think I might flog off and see if I can get myself a new camera. Right, okay, back to the track. Okay, so all this track's away up to here. These two sidings are away. I've lifted one point. There's the point motor. I get asked a lot about how I mount the point motors because my baseboard is polystyrene. But I just cut a hole in the polystyrene. It's pretty simple. I'm just about to lift another point, so you'll see. Most of my points I'm going to reuse. I've got one that's a bit iffy. That's not going to make it onto the new layout. Right. Should just leave it off now that that ballast's all wet. Pull it out. and because I've cut all the wires underneath, that just lifts out. So I sort of fit tape on the underside of the point just so the ballast doesn't fall through. I use a hot wire to cut the hole and then bore a hole down through, drill through the board to feed the wires through. Yeah, it's fairly simple. Just cut a hole in polystyrene to house the motor. These motors clip onto the sleepers with little twisted lugs. We'll need to untwist them and remove the motors to clear the points up. Okay, so I'm going to finish this video here. I'm going to carry on, get the rest of this track lifted. The next video will probably be me smashing up the baseboard, which will be fun and a bit messy. That'll leave the table underneath that I need to dismantle, remove all the wiring, and the aim really is to get an empty room so I can start again completely from fresh and start building the new layout, which will be fun. One other thing, I'm planning to be at Model Rail Scotland on Sunday, so if you're going to be there, I might see you. Right, catch you later, folks.